Boop.
Boop.
Okay, cool.
Oh my God, that was NSYNC. Or was it Backstreet Boys?
It was feeling a bit 98 degrees because it wasn't that in sync. Yeah, okay. Oh no. Okay, I need to start.
Bring it in.
I hate doing this.
I know this is the worst part, Remnant. You know that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of Balboa Zoo. I'm Remnant, and I am joined today with my good friend jAsh. Say hello.
What it?
All right, so today we are going to be showing you some of the new tiger exhibit that we talked about last time when we were showing off the reptile walk. I think you're gonna just be in every episode with me. Is that cool?
I mean, I'll have to look at my schedule, but that should work.
Okay, well, it's once a month.
Let me make sure I'm not double booked up for the next 2 quarters, since you get out one episode every 3 months.
The fact that we were recording this like a month after I released the last one is...
I'm shook. Are you shook?
Honestly, same here. I think that's why I have no idea what I'm doing right now, because I didn't have 4 months to take a break.
I think you might pull a Kim K and hashtag break the internet. Side note, though, have these little pillars always been here with the planters on them?
Yes.
Oh, I love those.
So
I don't think I've
thank you for
them.
watching the other episodes, but yes, they have been there. But one thing I did want to talk about that I didn't talk about in the last one, and I feel bad, was this really cool custom sign.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's really cool, and this was made by Wyatt Andrews, who does really cool. He knows his stuff when it comes to like how zoos are set up and stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Wyatt, for making those, and he made some other ones as well. I think I go around here and show.
Yeah, they go together pretty well with the ones that you made as well.
Yeah,
are those new?
He made these ones.
Oh, I like those.
They're newly placed. They were here the last time. I just didn't look at them.
Yeah.
And then over here, he also.
I love how tight
he also made this one.
This padding is. Oh yes, I like that one too.
Yeah, and we've also used this in another project. Dude, this episode's gonna be scattered. I'm so sorry.
I mean, where do we even start?
There's so much
to see.
So the tiger exhibit. So the reason that this is slightly scattered is because there are 2 ways to see it. There's like a lower level and then there's an upper level. But we can take this way.
I haven't walked to it from this way yet, so I'm excited.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I forget. I usually go in like right where. Is there an entrance by the gharials?
So near the gharials, you can see it. You can definitely see it, and also there's like street access, I guess. Yeah, but
where like
I guess
the bus goes through.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Okay. I think maybe I was taking that by accident.
Yeah, and so to get there on foot, you have to go this way.
Oh, cool. I'm excited.
And this is like very much how the San Diego Zoo works, where you kind of have to. You're kind of forced to go like through other exhibits just to.
Yeah, I like that though, because this is so immersive. Like anytime I go through here, I get totally lost, and I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like you're lost, but it's like as long as you are on a path, you're good. Yeah,
you'll come out somewhere. You know what I mean? That you'll recognize.
This is. I mean, we've looked at this before. This is like the tapirs, which we didn't really go down here at all for the last episode, so it's kind of cool to revisit.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's some new stuff over here, which actually you worked on, which is really cool. Which I guess we'll see more in depth later, which is also another reason why this is going to be a very scattered episode, just because there's so many things and so many levels to see. But you made this pedestrian bridge.
That's kind of a cool view. I haven't seen it from this angle.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, it looks good. I like it.
It looks so
Are you
good,
okay
man.
with the colors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. If I wasn't, I probably would have told you before we started recording.
So the only reason that I kind of went that route is the fencing that I had to use for the mesh-looking sides is that rustic, like red colored fence that we got with the Australian DLC. Mm-hmm. And I wanted it to try to blend as best as I could.
I like it.
But I do like the way that it looks when I complete it. I was kind of on the fence, so to speak, at first, but but the way it looks once I completed it, I was like, oh, I actually do kind of like that rustic colored metal.
Yeah, and it does a really good job of kind of sorta hiding the guests from seeing like the backstage, because that's the whole reason we have a pedestrian bridge here, is because like right back here there's a backstage, and like I mean obviously you're gonna see it if you look through it, but it kind of like deters you from like hey, there's not really anything to see. But
I didn't want it to be like super open, so that whenever you're on it you're just staring down into like you said, the backstage area. But I like the way that it turned out. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll definitely obviously take a look at it later up close. But yeah, down here, there's also like the elevator, an elevator to go up.
Gotta be compliant.
Yes, for those who can't, or for those who like me who are just lazy, like how I didn't finish this fence.
That's okay.
Whoops. If you would like to take the stairs to go up there, you would just go this way.
And that also goes up to... You have that whole path system up there that looks into the other exhibits too, that we've seen in past episodes.
Yes, and I will be going up here once we're ready to show. And fun fact, these are 3 meter, which was a pain, but they look so much better.
They really do. It is worth it to take your time and do that, because it adds so much realism. Yeah, it does. And you know what? And then if it doesn't work out, you can kind of tell it did here. You just block it with a bunch of plants. Right.
So over here, we had this random, just plot of land that was really small. But I needed to fit something in here. I didn't want to just keep doing a bunch of, foliage that you would just walk through. Mm-hmm. So I decided to add an exhibit. And this is actually supposed to be, I think they're called a fisher cat. Okay. And it's an actual working exhibit. There's a snow leopard in there, because they're kind of smaller. And I just thought it was it looks like an older exhibit, especially with the canopy and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And when I loaded the park file to finish up that pedestrian bridge, I didn't even know that we had mist or fog in the game. Had no idea. Oh, there he is.
Right? And he's just little. And he's really cool. He just kind of climbs around this. I mean, I feel bad because he doesn't have that much space to go around. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if this was just an actual, maybe not a snow leopard, and just a small cat, this is a pretty big exhibit.
Yeah. And he's the only one in there, right?
Yeah, he's the only one. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's not bad.
Yeah. And it's just it looks like it's just an old exhibit that's just been here forever.
Yeah.
And then this is a perfect example of literally the backstage is right there, and we get a cool cool view. Yeah, we get a cool view of your bridge.
Oh, nice. I didn't even know that. That looks cool.
It's really sick, and then you can see how it's working. There's someone crossing it. So I intentionally left this TV off because I just assumed that they just wouldn't have it on anymore.
Yeah, at some point in time, the electric to it just got totally trashed, and they were eh.
So if you keep walking down here, there's kind of 2 little viewing areas, and the second one is,
oh, nice,
just right here.
And you have some,
it's cool.
And you have looks like one of the enrichment items. So does it actually come over here and use this space?
It does. It'll smell that, and then it'll just kind of lay there. I wanted to add a lot of water because obviously they swim and stuff. So
yeah, and if it's intended to be a fishing type cat, right? Isn't that what you said it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it bad that I did zero research? I literally
no, literally me.
I'm oh, they're called fisher cats, so they're gonna have a bunch of water.
Watch them even like water.
I looked at literally I'm not even kidding you, one picture of a little nook of their exhibit. I was okay, that's pretty. Yeah. So there are 2 ways. You can either go through this exhibit or you can just skip it and go this way. And this kind of brings you to the backstage of the tapirs. So
oh, cool. That's a good point.
So yeah, the keeper would go through here, and then they also have the option to transport them if they need to.
Nice.
This way. Okay, so this is just more of that little stretch. And where we're going to get to is, you can kind of see it over there. It's the
Oh, yeah.
Tiger River. You'll see that this is the like an access road for people to get backstage, obviously. And you kind of cross this. So you're kind of forced across the street. And I
Yeah.
think this is something, I don't know if they do this exactly at the San Diego Zoo where I'm getting, all my references from, but I've seen it before. You have to have these big trucks get back here sometimes to transport, whether it's animals or things that they need. So that's been, especially with this zoo, it's been a struggle, like trying to figure out, just because all the references I've been looking at for the San Diego Zoo are like non-existent, because like even their like Google Maps is like completely covered by trees, so like
Yeah.
you can't see anything, and then they don't have a lot of street views. So
Well, I think based on what you did here, I mean, it looks right.
thank you. Yeah, and honestly, like I've come to a point with building this zoo where when it comes to getting the layout of the zoo, I've already messed up so much.
Well, I think it wasn't ever intended to be like a one-to-one, right? Like you
No.
just wanted to like loosely follow the layout of the zoo and then just have creative liberties along the way.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I did want to follow the layout as much as I could because obviously their layout makes sense for them. But with my very little amount of references that I have, because there's like none available, I've just had to kind of like do my own thing. So it's been okay though, and it's turned out fine. But yeah, so back here we have a little filtration, water filtration area.
I like that you used the bamboo. It wasn't intended to block the view of anything, like how I personally have used. Like, I feel like this is the correct way to use bamboo, where it's very light, but then you can also see other like foliage blended in there. And this looks super real. Like, it looks like this bamboo was like growing wild and not necessarily planted.
Yeah, I kind of wanted it more to be just like something that would like envelop you,
Yeah.
And I think that maybe in zoos they would obviously use it because of the region that these tigers are from, but also just because it's like bamboo grows pretty fast, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and it just creates like awesome coverage and like really cool like different levels and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't get enough of those gum trees.
I know. The gum trees and the Brazilian nut trees are a godsend. I love them. Yeah, so I wanted this to be just super, super immersive. Not necessarily like to make it feel like you're actually in whatever Asian jungle, but just to feel like you're just like very far away from the main entrance of the zoo.
This looks so good.
Thank you.
I love this.
So, obviously this isn't a tiger exhibit, but it's called Tiger River, so I wanted to have like species that you would find like along like the riverbanks of where the tigers are. So I just imagine there being like different types of fish in here, different frogs. I have a sign that
oh, that looks so cool. I love that.
Thank you. So these are very much inspired by signs that Ricey has like just made in the zoo that she's making, that she's been posting on Discord. And I love like the look of them. So I kind of ripped them off a little bit, but not too much. But I just want to say that because I got that inspiration from her.
Well, that's great. Ooh, I love the stacked stone wall. That looked cool.
Oh, this one? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of bringing in like the fact that this is very much man-made. And maybe they just didn't want to do a bunch of fake stone everywhere. Okay, yeah, so we are going over here now. There's some more of these like little info signs. We're starting to actually get into the tigers' territory. And you'll start to see that there's like these buildings that don't necessarily go, because these are like, I probably should 100% know what kind of tigers these are. I think they're Bengal tigers, which are Asian, I think so. And these buildings are not. They definitely have like kind of a Spanish flair to them.
Wow. This looks so good.
Thank you. I just added this mist since we were talking about this. Oh, there's a tiger. Oh my god.
Is it going to get in the water?
Oh, no, it's walking away. How dare. This is supposed to be like an original building that has been here since the zoo opened. Maybe it was like an entrance for like a tiger exhibit.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wanted to keep it. It's almost like a historical landmark.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at that building and tell that it's old. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I wanted to make sure that it was there. And it's actually inspired by a real building that is in Balboa, the real Balboa Park in San Diego. And I'll put a picture somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's one that I've always wanted to use in this zoo.
Do they swim in the water?
Oh, he's there. They do swim in the water.
Get your ass in there.
I'm just going to go in the water.
Do it. Ooh. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, man, they come right up to the glass.
They do. Let me change this lighting. But yeah, it's super
Nice.
cool. They just like, they chill here all the time, which is cool. There's only 2 of them in here.
That looks so cool.
Yes, isn't our running joke or the lore that these are the 2 tigers from Pelosa?
Yeah. Blake and Lola.
Yes, that's right. That's their names. Yeah, so this is Blake and Lola. They're in their summer vacation home.
It's like
in
their
San
parents
Diego.
got divorced, so now they come here like every other weekend.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool gig.
Right?
Yeah. So
I mean, this isn't a bad place to come to.
let's go ahead and go over here. This is just a winding path, and you'll notice that it is on a slope, which is
God.
something that, it's something that I've just had to be okay with and accept that everything I build for the most part is just going to have to be on a slope. Especially if you just want it to make it interesting, like you have to. This is why that there are months between these episodes, because it is really a really slow process, and I don't rush it. Like I can't, like you actually physically can't rush this kind of stuff.
And I mean, well, I remember how barren majority of this was when we were recording the last episode. So the fact that you were even able to do all of this is like kind of mind-blowing right now.
Plopping down landscaping in kind of a strategic way is like, it's kind of therapeutic for me. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I would rather do this than like actually building a building, which is kind of like taxing to me. So
Yeah, and I mean, if you take your time with the details and doing landscape and foliage, it's what really makes an area just completely come to life.
I agree. And that's like, it's like what, like 75% of a zoo is like the foliage that's around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, so this is kind of the big reveal with the rest of
that looks
the
so good.
exhibit. Thanks. Yeah, I was really nervous at first, like creating.
Holy shit. I think you just put the rest of the Planet Zoo community on notice. Like, we should all just stop playing the game now.
No, I will say that I have been very inspired by so many of the players that have been making like crazy things.
This view is insane, man.
Yeah, I was honestly, like, when I was making it, I was really surprised, because this is the first kind of major, like, what are those called? What are those exhibits called where it's like
A flagship exhibit?
Yes, a flagship exhibit.
For sure. This is something that's been on the pamphlet for years, and it's something that, you see it online and you're like, holy shit, I've got to get there and see this in person. And you've done something really unique, because if you just kind of take, like, if you stop right here, you take your screen and kind of squeeze it down and just imagine this flat, there's so much that you would not be able to see that would be blocked by rocks and stuff if you didn't have these elevation changes. So it gives you like a really unique view, because you can almost see almost every square foot of the exhibit.
Yeah, you're working with a little bit of a smaller space, and you're trying to make it look bigger and also make it feel bigger for the animals as well. Trying to give them different routes they can go, and they're not just living in this box.
I mean, when you're looking at this direction and you just see that very large building looming over, it's just very avant-garde, where you're like, what is that? And like, to me, looking at it from this angle, I'm like, can you even go up there? Like, or is it like a facade? And then once you actually get up there and you realize what else is up there, you're like, holy crap, like, they really spared no expense here, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because a lot of the people, and I think even you, like, a lot of the people that I've kind of showed this file to, they're like, oh, I love the building. And I was like, oh, well, did you see like the view from the building? And they're like, oh, I didn't even know that that was like a viewing area.
Which is perfect planning in my opinion, because the fact that you also get to go up there and look down into the exhibit is just like an added bonus.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that like there's I can honestly say that when I've been to the San Diego Zoo, I have never been to the to the upper viewing because I do not know how to get there, but I do know that there is an upper viewing. And even like the resources that I've looked for online, like there's not a lot. So it's kind of cool that there is kind of that secret viewpoint up there as well. But I kind of wanted to make ours not so secret. Wow, I can't talk. So if we go down here, we see more of just like this winding path that it's kind of supposed to mimic you. Oh, it's kind of supposed to mimic you walking down a river, like a river bank.
Yeah, I totally see that now.
Yeah, and like it's just nice because you can hear the water. There's like mist everywhere. Sometimes the tigers like hang out down here. But it's really cool because if you go in here, there's like a little cave that has like a view of, oh, yep, there's a tiger.
Oh, sweet. I didn't know this was here.
Oh, pooping. Yes.
They always do that.
They do. I love it. And he's like literally,
he's like laughing. He's like, take this, Balboa.
He's either laughing or 6. Just like in pain.
Yeah.
He's like, this came a month early. I wasn't ready. Yeah. And then over here, it's kind of like, I think these are frogs.
You put some exhibits in there so that people will come in here too. Well, I guess they probably already would with the viewing point being there for the exhibit itself.
Yeah, but this is just like, I always love to see how we can put other exhibits in here that would make sense with the environment.
Yeah. This is you would totally see this at a real exhibit too.
Yeah, so I just picture this kind of being like a little musky in here. It'd be cool to it'd be cool to one day put like a little like custom soundtrack of like cave and like water dripping or something.
Ooh, yeah. So are these like the poison dart frogs or something that's in here?
Yes. Yeah, I think I just put 2 different varieties in this one and in this one. I mean, I feel like in reality they wouldn't have tanks that are this big, but whatever.
I mean, whatever. Sure, there's like other things in there too, Maybe like part of what you're viewing is kind of seeing some of the foliage up close and personal, as well as how it works with their natural habitat. So it's like you're not only looking at frogs, you're getting like a up close view of like the bamboo itself and some of the other ferns and stuff. Because I see you got the plant signs there as well.
I probably could have spent a little bit more time in here. But I think it got the job done. It's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things to where like the more you do to it would just be junking it up. I mean, these things are always like super simple. You know what I mean? It's like you want to get the illusion that you're in a cave. That's exactly how I feel. Like overdoing it with other things would take away from the fact that you're in a cave.
Totally. Yeah, and another thing is like once people are in it, then it's gonna look fine. Yeah, so that's this lower area.
Awesome job.
Let's go ahead and go to the upper area. So that's the thing with this is going to the upper area, you kind of have to just like stumble upon it. Because you can't get to it. Like you can't be on the lower one and just be like, oh, I want to go there next. It's like, no, you kind of have to like. Yeah,
it's like its own destination too.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna stumble upon it.
It's kind of like you get rickrolled because you can see that huge Spanish architecture from the reptile walk.
Yeah.
And so you get over here and you're like, oh shit, I'm still not there.
Yeah. All right. So we are at the upper viewing area, or no, we are at the upper deck of this.
Oh yeah, I remember this place.
This is from like episode 3.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is like where all those like lemurs and stuff are.
Yeah, I remember because what you had there, you totally ripped out and redid it, and I was like, why the F would you do that? But then it's like you created 2 masterpieces. You just deleted one of them because the new one, I was like, okay, damn, that's nice.
Yeah. I definitely, I do that a lot, and I'm hoping I don't do that with this tiger thing, but I don't think I will.
You better not, because that thing looks amazing.
Thank you. This stuff looks amazing. So, I gave you a very like literally a Google Maps view of like a bridge that's next to my house. And
is it really?
Yeah, it's like a minute from my house. And I see it every day. I'm like, ooh, that would look good in game.
Well, here you
But
go.
yes, and I was like, I honestly like I don't like building. I just it's so tedious to me. And you are like honestly like I wasn't just pawning this off to you. Like you're really good at doing this kind of architecture. So thank you.
Yeah, it's like that 90s just stucco, just like generic. You can find it all over the US.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it looks really good here. And it's one of those things where it's like it's like 90s stucco architecture, but it's like give it a fresh like coat of paint, and it'll be fine for another 10 years.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so up here we have another view of that
Cool.
Fisher cat thing, which is pretty cool, which was kind of really unintentional. But
I did not know that.
Yeah, it just ended up happening, which is cool. And you can see some of this backstage back here, which we'll take a look at. So
one thing I did that you pointed out in my Australian DLC video, shameless plug, was remember we were talking about how much we loved the railing on this new Australian path?
Yes.
Like the handrail on one of the paths that we got.
Mm-hmm.
And my dumb ass, I was like, oh, well, I just hate the path texture. And you were like, you can totally just cover it up. And I'm like,
yes.
Right. So that's what I did.
Okay, but do you want to know something that's funny? Is that I changed the path.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was that? Okay.
It's the same. It's this. Sorry.
I didn't even check. Was it making the rails look wonky right here?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. I just for some reason changed it back to this one just because it looked a little bit I don't know.
Say
it looked
it,
a
girl.
little bit more
Spit it out.
It looked a little bit more cohesive. And
okay.
This is the only reason I'm saying that.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, really, it looks great.
I thought you were gonna say it's fine. I was like, shut up. No, yeah, and it looked awesome before with that because I really love that new especially the hand railing on the Australian path.
Mm-hmm.
But with the way that the path was laid out, so let's go ahead and walk through here.
So one thing too, I almost took what I did on the sides and put it on the top, but I thought I should just leave it open like that. Do you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think the only thing would be like there might be stupid people that would like climb this, but I honestly don't think that would like. It's not like it's over animals. Like,
yeah, if we ever get the option to have like a fencing, like a kind of like they did in Planet Coaster, where it looked like a chain link fence, or we're able. I know you can change it with like adding mods to the barriers, but maybe if we get a piece like that, I can just throw it on top or something.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be great. Yeah, because I honestly don't feel like it's a huge issue, but I love the way that this looks. Like to me, it aesthetically it looks better like this. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, awesome job. Like this honestly looks so good. You put a little staff path over here, which is cool.
Even though it's not functional in the game, I felt like from a realistic standpoint, it would just make sense to have kind of like a cutoff from the pedestrian bridge that goes directly down into the backstage. That way they wouldn't have to walk, because you can walk across the bridge, and then I think eventually you'll be able to come around behind where we're at right now. But this would just be helpful just to have like a quick shortcut down there.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks great. Like I also love like what you did back here. This is really cool. So this on this side, which I probably should have finished, but it's okay, is like access for the Fisher cat. I don't even think it's called that, but we're just gonna call it a Fisher cat.
What if we call it a Fisher cat?
Ooh.
No, that might be offensive.
This looks sick. Like I honestly really love what you did. So I asked you to make like a lift for the animals or for the tigers.
Yeah, so this there's like a holding area up there, so I guess if one is sick, but then they need to bring it down to like a vet or something, you needed a much larger elevator than what would be a standard size elevator, so this is almost like a freight elevator.
And these are your dumpster things, right?
Yeah, so I made these little trash enclosures for our other project together. and then brought these in here because I felt like they
Yes.
fit kind of this aesthetic.
For sure. That, I was actually thinking like, oh, I might want to just plop one of these in here.
So the electrical cabinets are existing. They're also a blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who did it because I'm a total jerk.
No.
But then I just put like a really simple awning over it just to keep it covered.
I love it. So before, you had put your solar panels up here.
Yeah.
Which I love those. But for almost like I kind of cycled through the sun, like, or through the day, like where the sun is during the day, and literally like
It
it's
never
covered.
hits it.
It's covered for almost the entire day, except for like an hour, and I just feel like
That
that wouldn't.
We'll find somewhere else to put them.
100%. Yeah.
And I think I was just really trying to make this as like mechanical as possible, and it was just too much. So I agree.
Yeah, like it didn't even look too much. It just, at the end of the day, I don't think it like made total sense because it was covered. If it was out in the open, then heck yeah,
Right.
we would 100% leave it there. This is just really cool looking. Like just seeing like the staff even use it up there, the bridge.
Yeah, and I kind of like the view that you also get on the other side of the fencing. You get kind of like a cool view.
Yeah, because it's not hidden, but it's like it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. It blends really nicely. I think that's what it is. It's not really meant to be hidden, but it just blends nicely. Oh no! Oh, no. My game crashed.
I was like, this stream just stopped. I thought it was me.
Okay.
Not only is Balboa trying New Frontiers, like,
We don't even use mods.
2 hours later.
Yeah. Well, are you more of an extrovert or an introvert?
I am an introverted extrovert.
Okay. So we are back on jAsh's really cool pedestrian bridge. And we are going to take a walk across now. Yeah.
I do like how you can see you can still see the colors from the tiger sign, like kind of blend into the trees. So it's like you know something's coming over here as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And okay, so this is why I changed the path guardrail to this back to this was just I think it looked a little bit better.
It does.
Than the Australian one, and I couldn't do it without not changing this because like it blended weirdly into this one.
Okay.
So that's the only reason.
You are forgiven. And it's your project. Like, I don't know who I think I am. I'm like, how dare you? Was it always a ramp here, or was there steps as soon as you got off of the pedestrian bridge?
It was always a ramp. Oops.
Okay.
It was always a ramp, but it wasn't like this.
Okay. I was gonna say
yeah.
Something looks different.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there wasn't all of this landscaping and stuff. So
God,
we are on the upper portion.
Forever.
It did. You know what? No, actually, I feel like once you get into a groove.
Have you mastered it at this point? Since like basically the whole zoo file is like this.
Who am I kidding? I have. No, yeah. I think once you kind of get into a groove, and I am very much a believer in making a big cluster of something and then just copy and pasting it everywhere.
Noted.
So yeah, so that's what a lot of this is. But yeah, so you will notice that we are using the same motif for the logo as we did down there. So this is still the same exhibit. You're just on the upper part of it, and it's not connected at all. So
yeah.
So I wanted to convey that with this sign and also these information signs, which are kind of the same ones as down below. And it's kind of cool, like that you can see like the little tip top of that spire up there.
This would kind of make me excited, especially if I saw the bottom portion of the exhibit first, because I would probably see the sign and be like, wait, we've been here already, and then be like, oh, wait a minute, no, we haven't. This must be that larger building on top of the hill.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And that's something that I wanted. Like, I didn't want there to be a clear view of that spire. I wanted it to be something that's like that's revealed. I don't even know how to explain this. It's just another winding path through a rainforest, like the rest of this the zoo has been. And this is, I just wanted to make it look, continue to look very immersive. And I think that the mist, it almost, the way that the mist is right now, it looks very like it's obviously coming from a man-made source.
Yeah.
And that's something that I wanted. It's not like a rainforest. It's just like, it's coming from a sprinkler system somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, I think obviously being here, you're like, you're not in a rainforest, but it's a very well perceived illusion of being in one, which I think is cool.
Yeah, as long as it kind of has the same feel, like, I don't need it to look like I'm actually in Asia right now. Like, I just want it to look like a very dense wooded.
I covered up some holes in the path for you right here too, by the way. You can barely even see it. You see it?
Oh my gosh. You sly dog.
And I feel like you get just a totally different vibe up here than you do at the bottom.
Totally. Yeah, and that's something that I wanted too. And I think like I was literally like 30 minutes before we were recording, I was like, I need to like kind of tie this in somehow. So that's why I made these like little information boards, and I put the same blue that's in like the sign, the Tiger River sign, because I wanted to make it known that it's like those are like the branding colors, I guess, of this area.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kudos to you for really taking one exhibit and making it work in two different, I won't say themed because it's not, well, I don't know, maybe it could be, but it's just making one exhibit and allowing it to exist in two different styles, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that this is a very old building, and you're super close to it now. These are supposed to be like original, like
this looks
like
so cool.
Bird cages.
It's almost like would Victorian be the right? Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a cool mix of like Victorian, and then there's like this Spanish revival architecture, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my god, it looks so good.
Thanks. And yeah, so I wanted to keep these here, and it's funny, like just adding like these Australian the new like metal
rusted
pieces.
Yeah
It kind of just like it shows that they have added a lot to this like over the years. When it comes to this, and it looks like this is like brand new branding, like
like that was part of their little budget for 2020. They're like, we're gonna do new signage.
It probably says like, please wear a mask.
Don't be an asshole, wear a mask, keep your distance.
These were like, they're simple, but they were kind of a pain to make.
Oh, they're not. They're pretty intricate.
They're intricate, but they're like,
He's like, I mean, they're totally basic, and they're not.
They're simple. Okay, so here's the thing. Something can look simple, but not be simple to put together. I think it looks a little simple in a good way. I didn't want it to look super intricate because I didn't want it to be like super like ornate.
I see what you're saying. From the view of somebody who plays the game, I can already tell you how much of a pain in the ass this was to make.
Yeah.
But someone looking at it who doesn't play the game, they would think a lot of these are just like simple pieces, and you've used them in very clever ways.
Yeah. No, thanks. Yeah, it was a pain, but once you make one side, you can just copy it to the other side. So.
These look so cool though.
Thanks. And I might use these in other portions of the zoo to just kind of show like, hey, these have been here.
I think you should.
Yeah. So so this area is just like, it is like worlds different from what's down there. This area kind of looks a lot older.
And it's kind of giving me like, it's very colorful, so it's kind of giving me like not like a full botanical garden, but you can tell they spend more on the like flowering, the flower beds and the bushes and stuff over here.
And I think that's what I wanted to convey too, because at the heart of it really is like a botanical garden as well. This is that view that you get from above, and this looks
good.
Yeah, it's like completely different.
Oh, there's another viewing plaza over here.
Yeah, there's another viewing over here.
Dang, dude, how many?
That's obviously.
So that's all right. So we have the one by the water. You have the one at the bottom of the hill here. You have the cave. You have this, and then that plaza to the right. So 5.
So there's 5 viewing areas. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. And there's 5 viewing areas, but also I feel like they're still very private. Like you can't even see you. Yeah.
I didn't
Like
see
you can
them.
barely see. You can barely see the water viewing area over here.
Yeah. Very good
Yeah,
job.
and I love that you can see the bus. So I guess the bus counts as like a sixth one.
Yeah. I love how, I mean, obviously you could tell how high up it was when we were looking at it from the bottom, but I feel like this gives you a very unique view. So like even whatever will eventually be on the other side of the bus line, is that just going to be foliage, or will that be an exhibit as well?
So I think it's just going to be foliage, and it's going to be
Okay.
very much just like,
Like brush?
yeah, not anything that's super like ornate or anything.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like, I can envision that in that open dirt space back there, and it's really going to feel like you're like deep in the forest once that area is complete, looking from this direction.
Like right above that is the Gharial exhibit that you were talking about earlier. And I think that I might want to do some sort of connector that would go over this path. I'm just not, or over the bus path. I'm just not quite sure yet how
Okay.
I would achieve that. So that's for the future.
Can copy and paste that pedestrian bridge.
Yeah. So this is the view that you get from up here. It's really cool because it's like completely different.
We've gotten
But I
lucky
really
that
dig it.
even though there's only 2 of them in there, every time we've gone to a viewing plaza, they're there.
Right? Yeah. Yes, I'm
So
very
they-
surprised.
Yeah, so they use this space really well.
Yeah, and that was something that I obviously wanted to do to make sure it happened, because I've built so many things where they just don't, and I'm like, whatever, it's fine. It looks fine. But
Yeah, knock
it's
that
cool.
out.
Yeah.
Are they
Thank
about to
you.
fight?
Or something else. Oh.
Oh, he's like, get away from me. Yeah.
Okay, I tried to be realistic. And I added like these little pens over here. I don't know if
Okay.
this is real. I don't know if this is how they would really do it though. But the
I
keeper is
think so.
separated. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
The keeper is
yeah, like-
separated.
I feel like they would go in and, put something in there to lure it in, and then walk out and then lift up the little guillotine type door.
Yes. Yeah, because in reality, correct me if I'm wrong, the keepers don't just walk in here, like with tigers.
I wouldn't think so.
No, I wouldn't think
But
so
I
either.
don't know.
Yeah, neither do I.
Watch some zookeeper be like, yeah, we do. No, okay, sorry.
A zookeeper, or just like so many other people that actually do their research.
Not us.
Yeah. But you know what? That's the thing about this community, has kind of made me feel like I need to kind of actually research a little bit of what I'm doing to make it look, plausible a little bit. Here's that holding, like that kind of isolation cell. So I guess like if there's like a sick animal or something, they kind of have like a holding pen. I'm not going to go in there because I literally didn't do anything in there. So over here, there's just like some backstage access points. Oh, we can look at this backstage access
Okay,
point over here.
I love the terracotta step. That was
yes.
That was a cool little feature. That looks great.
Thank you. Yeah, I really wanted to incorporate like that kind of like terracotta look. I probably could have like made it not so much of a pattern, but I'll do that later.
No, I like that. And I just want to kind of admire the architecture and stuff that you did in here. It looks really, really, really well done.
Thank you.
And I know
I
this took you
appreciate
some
that.
time, man.
Yeah, it did. I hate that I like, because I really love like finding buildings to make, but I wish that I liked building more, because I feel like I maybe could have made it a little bit more intricate. But I think it worked with like the pieces that we have. I didn't really get too creative with the pieces, but I think that it works.
I mean, it's perfect. So just stop.
Thank you. Okay, so before we view that other area, there's like this staff area over here that you helped me with as well. I added a ramp. I don't think the ramp wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah. I just figured that there should be a ramp in case they need to like roll something up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like this little area that maybe is not as done as it should be, but it's okay.
I mean, yeah, these are one of those spaces though, like it doesn't need to be anything
Right.
like crazy. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
going to be seen by so little people.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, like already forgot about it when I was like over here. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There's like a backstage area, so might as well show that off because I know that you worked hard on that. Yeah.
Is this different, or was this always here?
I
think maybe
it wasn't
just...
landscaped.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe you just did all the landscape and stuff since I was
Yeah.
there last.
I mean, a lot of the landscaping is like brand new because I was like, I would like to get this episode out, so I just like plopped a lot of this down.
Well, it looks good.
Thanks. These I'm going to put all of these things in the description. These are like custom bushes from someone that I will put them in the description. These signs.
There's 3 really good sets that people have made.
Yeah.
Like Thrive has made some.
Yes.
Millie, I think, is the other one that made a really good set. And then
duct tape.
Yeah, and then you have duct tape for him. He did some really great stuff.
Like recently. Yeah, and we've kind of been using that. It's kind of more like deserty, but it works still.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. These are more of those signs by Wyatt, and I just kind of made them my own, but they're pretty cool.
So would that kind of tell you the species of plant that is like in this area?
Yeah, so it could be like the species of plant or just like some little facts about those plants, not necessarily something that would need to be like on these things.
Very cool.
But yeah, so if we go through here, this part over here is a little bit more unfinished. But I just think that this is another cool like little almost like hidden viewing area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I hate how the glass is in this game.
Yeah, the glare on it is kind of bad. But that's not something we have control over, unfortunately.
I know. And you get like another really cool view over here.
Yeah. And I love all the really tall palm trees just in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. Like once you start to add like you don't even realize that you're adding like a whole skyline of like
right.
other things.
See, this is what I was saying. Everywhere we viewed, the tigers they're like constantly using every square inch.
Yeah.
All right.
That's Superman's it. This is obviously newer because this, whatever architecture this is that I tried to do, looks newer.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and then we have just like some more information stuff. Wow. Information stuff over here.
Awesome. It's almost like the attendance for this exhibit does really well, that it started to get really congested, so they made this fifth area.
Yes, it's almost like they needed to just keep adding areas that people can view, you know, the kind of iconic animals. I would say that the tigers are pretty iconic at a zoo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you know what? It's funny because I think the reason that I put more is that at the San Diego Zoo, the fact that there's only two ways to view the animals, at the San Diego Zoo, and so it's like it's really hard to see them ever.
Or it gets pretty easily crowded. I bet.
Yes. Yeah. So it's kind of cool to add more. Obviously, some views are better, but yeah, it's cool to kind of add a lot. But yeah, this is unfinished. This is actually going to be an entrance to, like, in the future, a very big, like, aviary.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this is going to kind of be, like, where you enter it. So I'm kind of excited about that.
I will skip that part.
Oh, true. I was like, why? Just kidding.
Don't do birds.
Well, maybe it'll just be, like, a really nice, like, botanic garden that has to be like in a greenhouse type setting.
Yeah, no, I'll skip it.
The possibility that there might be like one bird.
Yeah, no, I'll skip it.
Yeah, those are actually, like, I'm not terrified of birds, but I don't like them. I know that I did one where like you hold like a little cup of like nectar or something.
Oh no. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then they just
literally
like
my palms are sweating.
They flock over to you, and I was screaming. Just
oh my
like
God.
I'm not scared of birds, but I didn't like it. So
that sounds like a literal nightmare for me.
Okay, so I thought I would show, because people have been asking for an overview of kind of like what we've done, and we've done a lot.
when you're looking at it overhead, it doesn't look as big as what you would think it does.
Right? Like
And
at all.
Yeah, and that's because you've made the foliage so dense in there that it's just like an excellent use of space.
Yeah, I mean, you're really forced to use like every inch of space, and you have to do it in a really creative way. And I think that's kind of like the fun thing about having a zoo that has so many elevation changes, is that you're kind of forced to use those different levels and try to use them to your advantage. So like, obviously, the only reason that the zoo has so many elevation changes is because that's probably how the land already was. Like, I don't feel like a zoo would actually dig out these canyons.
No, I mean, this is definitely like the layout of the land, so to speak. Like, they just worked with what they had. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And so that was something that I knew was going to be a huge challenge, but it's something that has been definitely worth it. Like, looking at like the end product and seeing how everything kind of works together.
Yeah. I would say it's probably what makes it most unique in my opinion, because anybody can make a flat zoo, but to really take the time and do those, and they're not, it's like we were saying before, they're not even huge elevation changes. It's just you're constantly on an elevation change that by the time you get to a flagship exhibit like this, you're like, holy shit, like we're a lot further down than where we started, and you don't even feel it.
Yeah. So what we're working on next is kind of like an African grassland area, which I am excited about because
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's not rainforest, which I'm kind of really burnt out on. So I'm super excited for.
I'm thinking it's going to be very nice and open and airy. You know what I mean?
Yes, which is such a big difference from what we've kind of been working on the past, or what I've shown in the past like 6 episodes. It's all been very dense and jungly, so it'll be kind of nice to like actually get honestly a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and everybody knows watching, like everything that you've seen so far is buried in all of that green.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's in there, girl.
But yeah, so this has been episode 6 of Balboa Zoo, and jAsh, thank you so much again for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. I always like to, I like to see what you've done, because you, for some dumb reason, you're like really hard on yourself, and you think that like what you're doing is just okay, but it's awesome, and I love to be here.
I appreciate it. That means a lot coming from you, because I feel like you do that to yourself too. So we can both hate ourselves together.
We'll just compliment each other.
There you go. That's a better way of putting it. All right, you guys. Well, I hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to jAsh. We have some like cool things coming up, so definitely subscribe to him and me if you haven't already, but to him.
We're not going to commit to a date. We're just going to drop it on you guys.
Yeah, we're going to pull a Beyonce. So
yep. Lemonade.
Yeah. So guys, thank you so much again. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you guys next time, hopefully maybe in like a month again. But all right, we'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh, that was so awkward.
I still haven't gotten my t-shirt, by the way, which I'm pretty pissed about, but it's whatever.
You know what? This zoo hasn't opened yet, so there's been no money coming in.
COVID has just like really impacted us. So
we are making custom masks though, if you would like to have one.